With two different endings now released, both more confusing than the last one, I think it is safe to say that Attack on Titan has finally ended. And it is a bit of a hard pill to swallow. This series will probably go down in my top 3 animes for a long time to come. Yet, when you look at my channel, I have only about 2 videos based on this anime. And you might be thinking why that is. And to be honest, every time I sit and try to come up with videos for this anime, I feel this immense pressure on my shoulders, and I don't know why. And I immediately start doubting myself. In my head, I think I could never do this anime the justice that it deserves. That is how much respect I have for this masterpiece of a story that Issayam has created. And I'm not gonna lie, that ending was underwhelming to say the least, but I'm completely okay with that. By the way, when I say the ending, I'm talking about the last chapter, not the last arc. The last arc had me on the edge of my seat the entire time. Let me not tell you why I'm okay with this underwhelming ending. Over the years, the more attached I have become to a series, the more of an epic ending I imagine in my head. And every single time, I have nonetheless been very let down. Game of Thrones, Demon Slayer, and now Attack on Titan also joins the list. Although series such as Demon Slayer and Game of Thrones endings were very disappointing, Attack on Titan had a different feeling for me. I don't know if I ever would be pleased with no matter how many different endings that we get. And I know that kind of sounds very entitled and selfish of me, but I bring all this up to tell you guys how much of a fan I was and still am for this series. Whenever I am asked by a friend to explain what the plot of Attack on Titan is about or what is so special about it, it is always very difficult. I mean, how do you explain this to someone? How do you explain the greatness of a character like Erwin to someone? How do you explain the epicness of a character like Levi or a complicated character like Hanji? The answer is you can't. You simply cannot. But nonetheless, you give them the generic answer of, oh, it's about an anime where humans are fighting for survival against titans. Then they try to be smart with it. They hit you with a complicated question to almost belittle your knowledge and look down on you in a way. Why are the titans naked? I'm sure you heard this question before, and every time you think in your head you're about to convince someone into watching Attack on Titan, they hit you with this idiotic question. But nonetheless, moving on back to the topic of the video, the ending. Starting with Eren's grand plan to eradicate 80% of humanity and make Armin and the scouts the heroes who saved humanity. Eren both died as a hero and a villain. To the people of Verdis and the people of Aldea, he is the hero who saved them. To the rest of the world, he died a villain who almost wiped out 80% of humanity. Whether Eren was in the wrong or in the right, it was the only choice he had. I don't want to say there was no other choice, because there's always a choice. Eren knew this for a long time, ever since he made contact with Historia. So you can say, like Armin said, he was alone this whole time. Eren knew that this was the only way. The only way to free the people of Verdis and save Altea was through the rumbling. Next, let's quickly talk about Ymir. Ymir's story was really sad. The main reason, although she was powerful enough, she did not stand up to King Fritz, we found out, was because she truly loved him. Like Eren, Ymir yearned for freedom. The person who finally freed her was not Eren, but Mikasa. The irony behind Mikasa being the one to free her by freeing herself is quite amazing to watch. The main pull for me and most people with Attack on Titan was just like in Game of Thrones. Of course, I'm speaking of before season 6. Anything that is after that is not Game of Thrones for me. But in Game of Thrones, you did not know who was gonna make it out at the end. And in Attack on Titan, that was why I fell in love with it. When these characters were in battle or there was some sort of conflict, we knew for sure that they would be protected by plot armor. And there isn't a magical dragon in which to bring the dead back. During the battle sort of conflict, we knew for sure that they would be protected by plot armor. And there isn't a magical dragon in which to bring the dead back. During the battle of heaven and earth, I was on the edge of my seat, because in my head, I was sure none of them were going to make it out. I mean, look at all the titans that were there, and you're telling me Connie, Beak, Annie, Reiner, Falco, Gabby, all of them survived? But they all did. And there was even a moment where we thought Levi was dead for sure, and he even had the former members of the Soviet Corps in front of him. And I was like, man, Levi, that's it. You know, this is the moment. And then next chapter, or maybe it was the same chapter, we see Levi with Falco and Gabby. First of all, why Why is he with Fargo and Gabby reading newspaper? It's kind of weird, but whatever. The second half of season 2 was by far, in my opinion, the peak of this anime. And to be fair, every single season delivered. There isn't any other anime that I can say for sure that has done it for me and delivered the way Attack on Titan has. In all the other animes, some arcs are so head and shoulders above and ahead of the other arcs that no other arcs, such as the Chimera Ant arc with Hunter x Hunter, Shibuya Incident arc with JJK, and Marineford with One Piece, and so on and so on. But I cannot say the same for Attack on Titan. Every season delivered in a major way. I even went back and rewatched the entire anime from season 1, and there wasn't a single moment I got bored with. If you haven't rewatched all the seasons, I beg of you to go rewatch it, because you're gonna notice so much now that you know what you know. It's so good, especially Reiner. Like, just pay attention to Reiner. Like, forget about everything else. Reiner and Bertolt, pay attention to them. Every time they're on screen, you can tell that something is off, and it's crazy. Even I went back to rewatch it, and I'm someone who usually, after I watch anything, I cannot go back. But now that it has ended, I need something to fill this emptiness. I've recently watched the Endeavor versus Nomu fight in My Hero, and it was insane. Like, what the hell? Maybe I'll get caught up with My Hero once and for all, but who knows? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get caught up with My Hero just so that I can make some content on My Hero, because I really enjoyed that Nomu versus Endeavor fight. So you know, you can definitely expect some content on that for sure when I get caught up. But that said, this is where I will end the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like if you made it this far. And with that said, until next time.